Here now is Gibbs Wealth Management President Aaron Gibbs. And Aaron, it is kind of ironic that some on Wall Street were worried about cash creating inflation, but most of the folks on Wall Street want even more cash to calm their nerves. How do you reconcile that?
Well, they basically want free cash. So they want cash with super low interest rates, easy loans, not having to worry about, an increasing deficit. And so they want cash, but they don't want it without inflation. I think actually the two work together. But so there is, you do get a sense of sort of this bipolar, we're worried about inflation, but we want a stimulus. But it's really, we want free cash is what Wall Street wants, and more of it. And so certainly if there's concerns that inflation's come with it, that's a concern.
All right, well, free cash, it's hard to turn that down. All right, let's talk about these markets for a moment, because much has been made about the reopening trade, but I think the idea that it's a value trade sort of ignores the fact that a lot of these stocks have rallied big time. Just case in point, full disclosure, I sent an alert out to take profits on Norwegian Cruise Line for my subscribers earlier today. So there's a knee-jerk thing like, well, what might go up? How do you find value these days? Because you're one of my favorite value investors.
So I do look at relative valuations, not only just across the broader market, but just where that industry typically trades. And I think this period right now really does offer a lot of opportunities where there is this massive rotation in the market. And we're seeing sectors that were, huge laggards like financials and energies being the biggest winners last month. And so, of course, if they're bigger winners, that makes it a little harder to find the value, but at least it means that some of the value stocks are actually finally taking over and doing well. So looking at the fundamentals and also looking at broader themes and what's going to work. And so I still like small caps. They're still undervalued compared to their relative expected growth. And I also think financials are still have some room to grow when you look at how much they're discounted to the broader market.
On Friday, we get the jobs report. Should we be rooting for good news to be good news or bad news to be good news?
I think in this case, it should be good news to good news. I think when we look at the markets, there's still a heavy fear versus optimism pull and push going on. We have these fear days, these big run-up fear days where inflation is where everybody's worried about it, even though rates are very low. And so I think when the markets still aren't completely optimistic, you should be looking at, we want to see good news, particularly when there's so much uncertainty coming ahead for this year.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. Hey, before I let you go, I got 30 seconds, but I always want to squeeze in your favorite idea at the moment.
So combining financials and small caps. So it's a Merchant Bancorp. They're heavily focused on mortgage. It's not a name you're ever going to hear of. They only have 16 branches, so it's not a household name, but it's a small cap mortgage focused bank. And I think really phenomenal earnings, a good outlook for the year.
Aaron, thank you very much. Always appreciate it. Thanks.